Hey guys, if anybody's out there, I know it's kind of a weird time here, but wanted to hop on here and make sure everything was okay. Yeah, hi G513, Susan. Good to see you, sissy. Hey, hey. Yeah, for sure. Becca, hey, what's up? What's up? Dinah, what's up? From Australia. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. BA in the house. Melody. Annette. You're new here, Melody? Well, glad to have you. Hope you like it. Tab P. Guys, make her welcome. Toluca. One is sevener, I guess. One is sevener. Victoria. D. Derringer. Deborah. Ilana. Babani. Farkas. Ryan. Tudor. Yeah. Kim. Hey guys, well, just a little update here that I posted a video a little while ago, and all it was I was having a little bit of fun, and it was an old World War II clip, about 4 minutes long or whatever. But I'm just going to go ahead and explain what that was about. I was just having a little fun with it because I'm going to on Friday night. I'm going to let Mark Pyers. He's going to do his show on his channel, but I'm going to stream it on mine also. I coined it like, hey, a takeover of Wages World's channel, and I showed that video, and I put some red alert stuff in there and some, stay tuned kind of thing. I was just trying to build a little bit of hype and just have a little fun with it. And and after I posted it, within an hour, I had like about 1,200 views on it, but there were a few people in there that actually were scared. I guess they just took it wrong or didn't understand what I was doing. So I didn't want to leave it up there. He thought I was hacked. Yeah. I was just trying to, I was just trying to have a little bit of fun. Buckeye, hey, what's up? Lady Blue. But that's why I'm doing this video here. But there's actually also some other stuff I'm going to go ahead and throw in here while we're here. I just wanted to let everybody know everything's fine. Nothing crazy's going on with my channel or anything like that. And I can see how people could take it after watching that video. But overall, guys, I was just trying to have some fun. People just kind of took it the wrong way, and I guess I didn't think it through all the way. But, right now I'm going to blame it on the fever. I don't feel good. So, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I actually left Mark's channel today a little while ago. I was going to get some rest, but then I seen that. So I knew I had to come back on to kind of address that. I didn't want people freaking out about it. So, anyway. We're going to go ahead and just jump into this. I'm going to go ahead and do an update here because there is stuff actually going on. But this is the channel. This is Mark Pyers for the people that don't know. I've been promoting this channel here for a while now. And his channel's growing. We just lit the fire. Now we just got to fan it. You know what I'm saying? This is all about positivity, and, ain't nothing but love over there. So go over and check him out. He's still on right now. He's streamed for like 650 some days now in a row without taking a break, 2 to 6 hours a day. Plus he has a family of 3. He's a real estate agent, makes these beat seats, all kinds of crazy stuff. He's extremely busy. And how he finds time to do this, he does it like me right now, like in the middle of the night. He sacrifices his sleep to do this stuff. But anyway, I did want to, this is who's going to be, I'm going to broadcast his show on Friday here on my channel also. So people that hear that or see that, please come over and check it out. The idea is just to give some positivity to people and maybe get some people over there, because it's like a family over there, guys. Kind of like what it is here in the chat. We have a really good time talking to each other. Things are just laid back and all about, feeling good and listening to some music. He does face swaps, stuff like that. He's awesome impersonation. He does on point. A lot of the politicians, a lot of the movie stars, anybody you want to know, he can pretty much do it, like right on the spot. He's awesome. So that's what, that's why I'm going to let him, I'm going to broadcast his video or his live stream on my channel on Friday. So, he's still going to be on his channel too, but I want, people over here to really, you're only going to have to listen to him once. And I promise you, you're going to go there and subscribe. You know, that's how confident I am. I'm dead serious about that. You guys will laugh your butts off. It's hysterical. So, anyway, we'll move on from that. Here's a Schumann update. Again, I just showed this a few hours ago in my other video, but, you know, seeing how we're here, I want to try to keep this one a little bit short. So, anyway, Schumann, not doing a whole lot of nothing. You know, this is an overall uptick in the frequency, but there's really not a whole lot of spiking or anything like that going on. Spaceweather.com. Now, this is where we can have some discussion, because you guys see this right here. You see how it's taking an upturn? We got to figure out why. Well, these are X-rays, right? X-rays typically come from sunspots on the sun. All right, like when we get a flare, this is what we look for. That's why they go over here, and that's why they, you know, it's flare class up there. Proton flux really ain't moving a whole lot. It's rising a little, but not much. It just doesn't do a whole lot usually. Okay, but here you can see how we're not on the basement, but this is good geomagnetically. Okay, because it's going to block a lot of the cosmic rays. You know, it gets up into 2 or 3. That's cool. It gets into 5 or 6. That means we're in geomagnetic storms. And I have to say this, that, you know, people that use GPS want the opposite conditions of people that use, like, ham radio operators. So, if you're using GPS, you don't like one specific situation. And if you're a ham radio operator, you don't like the opposite. It's really that simple. But here's the sun right now. I'm going to show you a better picture of the sun here in a minute. But I think this may be getting close enough to be coming around the limb of the sun. That might be the reason for our uptick in the X-ray flux. But this one and then this one, those are 2 official sunspots. This one's way more healthier. This one is, you know, it looks a little bit smaller than what it actually is because of the parallax effect. It's on the side of the sphere, and we're looking directly at a sphere. So it's going to look smaller the closer it gets to the edge. It's really probably about this size. You know, but that's not speaking to the intensity of it anyway. So you can have a small solar flare or a small sunspot and get a huge solar flare from it. You don't even have to have a sunspot. Okay. Wind speed. Now, again, right in the middle. Now, this is the ACE data. It's below 300. It's crazy that it's reading like this because it's really not. I don't think that's what we're experiencing. We could be, but the other models aren't really supporting that. Now we got this, the density, it's low too. But we've seen a dive right here, right before the satellite broke its line of sight, where it can't transmit data. But you also seen an uptick in the solar wind. So what happened between here and here, we don't get to see. And I do think that we took some solar wind hits right there a little bit. And I'll show you here in a minute. Temperature, kind of low. The BZ, it's kind of variable, but it's not in the negative. So it's really not much to talk about there. The phi angle flipped a couple times. But then we get, you know, very steady conditions after that. So this ain't what's causing our issue right now. There's really no issue. Just our conditions right now aren't being influenced by that. Okay, right here we are in time, right? So it's suggesting we're going to have a velocity increase, speed, and then the plasma, the density itself. Now this changed just within 2 hours. When I showed this earlier, this hump here was like this. So I don't know what changed or whatever, but if you look at stereo A, look at that. I mean, they're saying something happened on that side of the sun that this model picked up. This is stereo A. And my guess is that sunspot, that active area that's getting ready to rotate, you know, Earth facing, I bet it had something to do with that. It wouldn't even, you know, it may have even had a CME. I don't know. But you can see how the wind speed just we barely missed a very intense wind speed right here. Now we're going to have elevated conditions anyway, you know, between 4 and 600. Okay, so up here is 600. So why are we seeing below 300? This one ain't below 300 at all, ever. So I don't know what's going on with this. I've been talking about this for a minute now. Something else, guys. Look at the electron flux. See the blue? This should really look more like the magnometer graph here. You know, you're seeing a little hump here. Usually it'll kind of level out, and you'll see another one. You'll have little ones in between, but this is a continuous fluctuation of electrons. So that's activity. And I think it's probably coming from sunspot stuff. Okay? You know what? Hold on a minute. You in there, Trinity? George? Good to see you guys. Trinity, hey, we're praying for you, okay? Always are. Every day anyway. I hope you get, you know, hope you don't. IG, what's up, Isaiah Granny? Becca, you still in there? I was going to do this yesterday and I forgot. You got a wrench now if you want it. Okay, there you go. I want to keep, like, you know, because we're getting quite a few people in the chat, I'm going to keep like 10 to 12 in there at all times because it gets busy sometimes. I get it. Becca, if you don't want that, you know, you can let it go. It's fine. Just let me know and I'll take it away if you don't want it. It's no big deal. But I do think you've been here long enough and I trust you, so thank you. Anyway, we got this. We will push play. And I'm just going to grab the scroll bar because you're going to see little waves coming in and out there. Okay? Density, same kind of thing. It's not much to talk about, like, specifically, but this is overall an increase on what we're seeing. You know, I'm going through this stuff first so we can talk about the auroras and stuff like that a little bit longer. This is the stuff we typically see anyway. This is the pressure. Nothing really crazy going on here, guys, okay? But we have to understand that just because we don't see it on the magnetopause models doesn't mean we're not getting activity, okay? We can have all kinds of other stuff going on, and that's kind of what's actually happening, I think. Coronal holes, you know, nothing happening, which is really strange. There's usually something to talk about coronal holes somewhere on the face of the sun, and right now it's been like 3 or 4 days now, nothing. Now, I know you see this up here, but that's just the northern coronal hole. It's always there. Now, let me say this. You know, coronal hole is what gives us our solar wind, right? Typically. So, but then our graphs are showing we're getting solar wind. So, you have to wonder where the heck it's coming from. We'll look at stereo A on a different site. I just wanted to look at that real quick. Okay, yeah. There's not much of nothing going on there with that. But let me do it over here on Soho too. Yeah, you guys can see that activity over here, right? Check it out as I move it. See that? Now, none of that was coming at us, but this is kind of like a continuous flow going that way, which is, you know, it's indicative of activity. But we just simply don't know how strong it is. It's not coming at us anyway, so it's really not that big of a deal. Okay, and that would be over here on this side. Now, here's that sunspot, and here is the other one. You know what? Let me do this real quick. I'm going to update that. Because I want to see. Now, watch over here for a second. I'm going to zoom this in just a little bit more. Watch over here. See how I rock that back and forth? Watch right there. Because you're seeing activity leave the sun. I do think there's some stuff flying off the sun over there. Okay. It's not big time or anything, but it does look like stuff's happening. Okay, and this is something we can talk about too. If you look over here, I showed this in my last video. It does look like we might have some activity like flicking off the sun over there. See that? But what's strange is you're also seeing it up here now. Seems like things on that side of the sun are kind of acting up, and then you get this sunspot right here. It's not official until it gets in front of us, and it has to have the right characteristics on the surface to be considered a sunspot, and for a specific length of time, it has to hold together. But this does look pretty, pretty promising to become a sunspot there. And my guess is that's probably where those little extra X-ray increase we were getting is coming from. Ooh, watch this. Watch the two sections of this kind of grow together. See that? How they're like transferring energy back and forth? It doesn't look like it's flaring. If the positive and negative were to touch there, it would flare. And that's not what we're seeing there. You guys see this little appendage sticking up right there? That's probably a solar vortex. A tornado on the sun. Now it's not wind, okay? It's charged particles moving up a magnetic connection line. Is what you're seeing there. And it's just spiraling. That's what you see. Okay? So let me grab it here. Yeah, that most definitely is a solar vortex. You can kind of see some up here too. Things are happening on the surface here, okay? So we're just going to have to pay attention to it. This does look like it's spewing some pretty good energy. Let's do this. Let's go over here and check out the 304. Oh yeah, that confirms everything I just said. See this? All this stuff over here, why is it always on that side of the sun? Why is it over there right now? And it's the whole side. See, watch this. That's a pretty decent amount of plasma moving there, guys. Now, not a whole lot of it left, if any. Looks like it got recaptured by the sun. But this up here, I think is right now in the process of having a CME. So watch what this does. Actually, I'm going to zoom in and we're going to just play it so you guys get a really good look at it. Just watch up here. See how that hangs out right there? Wasn't that cool? Now watch. See that? I think that's starting to leave. I think it's leaving. I don't think it's coming back, a lot of it. If you look around the other edges here, look at all this plasma moving around. I think it's cool. I could sit here and look at this thing all day long. Now, watch this, guys. That's probably what bumped up our X-ray after seeing that. I didn't see that until just now. Watch right in here. I'll point it out again when it starts doing it. Right there. See that? It looked like a little flare up, right? That's what I think this had a flare. You could see it kind of, spewing out at the same time. Now that was a really small one. Not very big, but it's there. See that right there? You can even see the dark filament kind of, flinging on out this way. I bet you that's what happened right there. I bet there was a little flare. It's always hard to see stuff right on the surface because the sun just camouflages itself. Okay, let's go back over here for a second. This is that active area up here that I was showing you guys. It's going to get real bright here in just a second. You can see it. Now, once it's getting ready to crust over, what I'm going to do, see how it got real bright right there? So the sun's rotating to the right, correct? From left to right. And yeah, that's going to give us some X-ray increase. But I think what we were seeing was this over here, that little flare. I would bet that's why it bumped up a little bit. Again, is it a big deal? Absolutely not. But look at this. See? That's the last capture we get. That's leaving the sun, guys. Some of that will. But again, that's just my opinion until it actually happens. But just from just from watching these things for a while now, I'm kind of getting a good feel for, when things are going to do certain things. And that is just what it is, I guess. But yeah. Okay. So this is the magnetopause models here. I think we're going to see some action here a little bit. I haven't looked at it yet, but we will. We'll take a look at it here. I wanted to update that real quick first. Okay, you see how we're getting energy, and then we're just kind of blowing it out the back. You're not seeing a whole lot in the front, but it doesn't take a whole lot to just, like, if it's real slow, it'll still put energy in through our poles. Okay, it's easier to bring the energy in through the poles. It's going to find, just like water, the path of least resistance. So watch what happens. We act like a capacitor, we build that energy, and then boom. See that? It usually goes out the back. Now, we got to keep in mind that typically when stuff's leaving the Earth, it's not directional. It's going to let it go pretty much in all directions. Now, there are current lines and magnetic lines and stuff it will follow, but for the most part, it's not going to, like, pinpoint, like, right here and go straight out that direction. If you ever watch these, when the Earth does do its thing, you'll see how it all builds around it even though it might be more intense over here. The reason why is because we got solar wind pushing up against us on this side, so it looks more intense over here. See how it all built up around there right before it let it go out the back? See? And then look what happens. So that's what you're looking for when you're looking at this stuff. And that was a hit right there, okay? I didn't show that in my last video because the time hadn't been there yet. But you can see how the bow shock actually bent in on both ends. It doesn't do that unless we get hit pretty good. Something else, you guys see that right there? Okay, yes, that's an increase in overall energy, right? But let's go over here and look at this solar wind. So, right there, let me update it because that's the old one. Sorry, should have updated it already. Let me update this one while we're talking. So, we got a hit of like 900, almost 1,000. Right there, it did get over 1,000. Okay, 1147. That's about 2.5 million miles per hour. Actually, it's close to 3 million miles per hour. All right, if that's correct. And I'm having a hard time thinking it is because none of the graphs are ever going to show something that. If one of them showed it, they all should be. And they're not. This is the only one showing that. So I don't think that is extremely accurate. I used to think it was because that's what I was told. But after, having multiple discussions and stuff with Scott and everybody else, that is not completely accurate. But you can see how we took, some energy there. But anyway, we will, here's the Australian model. It's going to bounce around. Look at the proton density, okay? That usually hangs between like 1 and 5. And we're getting readings upwards of 20, I think, is what I've seen. We'll watch that again. Yeah, it's about 20. It's not that big of a deal, but, then the BZ is actually in the positive. If you want to see the speed, I trust, guys, I'm going to say this right now. This Australian model, for you Aussies over here that's watching, whoever did this has done an awesome job at all this. Watch the kilometers per second. This is the wind speed right here. Okay, watch how and we're getting an update every minute. So you're seeing that pretty much in real time. And it's never ever even getting up over like 350 or so. Let's go back and look at it on the 12th, just so we can know. Right? It's still showing the same thing, and that's exactly what, kind of what some of the other models were saying. When we hang that low for that amount of time, you got to know that that's really, really low conditions, not active whatsoever. The same CME still hanging around. Nothing much to talk about there. I'm not going to waste your guys' time on that. This here is the geoelectric field. And I want to talk about this for a second because I was over at Mark's channel and it wasn't just me. I started getting buffering issues. Now, Mark's over here way on the East Coast. I'm in Indiana. I was hearing people like it was like clockwork. Somebody said it over here, then I said it, and then somebody who lives in Colorado said it, and then somebody who lived over here in it was Oregon. It wasn't California. It was up here in Oregon. Said it. It was nationwide. We started seeing buffering issues, and not to mention that not only buffering, but then they stopped Mark from uploading the live stream at 720p. They bumped down his resolution for like a half hour. And that's done by, the computer system itself. The algorithm will do that if it doesn't have a strong enough signal. Either that or it just kicks you offline. And what I want to point out here is I noticed something kind of interesting with this. Okay, I'm going to pause it. Now, when you're looking at this, it's kind of like the magnetopause models, right? So I'm going to view in, and what we're going to do is it actually tells you kind of the direction where the center point of the hit was. Now, how can we like pinpoint this down to one area, right? That's what a lot of people are probably saying. Well, when you start getting cracks in a magnetic field, and we're going to talk about that with the red auroras here in a minute, it's most definitely possible to pinpoint it straight down to that. So what I'm saying is, if you look right here, do you see the little waves? I guess I'm just going to zoom way in. Okay, maybe I'm not. There it went. What the heck? It took it forever. Anyway, you can see where the center's here, right? Because you can see the waves going all the way down. So that is your effect on our electrical grid. And even though it even followed out here, we don't typically see that little, that much definition. So this model is getting better at what it does. I think they're constantly updating what this thing and how it can, see data and stuff. Because if you look here, that's always going to be there. Why? That's where the Appalachian Mountains are. Okay? This little arrow signature, that's always going to be there too, to some extent, because of the Rocky Mountains. So this is just what it's trying to show us, right? It's giving us a pretty good idea right now. It's like throwing a rock right there, and it rippled out, like in a lake. So it's very, very, pretty good stuff there, in my opinion. That's a good thing that we're seeing. Because it looks like it went right here, and it would make sense because we started seeing all those outages. Not really outages, let me say, disruptions is what I'm going to call it, because it's pretty much, it's more so that than the other. It's not an outage. But you can see how it keeps right there. So you got to wonder why. Okay, it's not because of anything other than there's probably a small crack in our magnetic field there. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I would be interested to see if anybody gets aurora right here. That close, right there on the border. Maybe somebody, if you guys live in that area up there in North Dakota, Minnesota, Montana maybe, or if I got some listeners that close in Canada right there, if you guys could step outside and see if you can see anything, or if you know any aurora photographers, maybe you could hook me up. Who knows? But here's the power outage map. There's not much going on there. Obviously wildfires out here. They're still feeling the effects of Hurricane Delta down here with these power outages. Now, it's getting better, but it's nowhere near. Right now, it's 103,000 in Louisiana. Guys, that's still a lot of people. Think about that number for a second. I know we're talking about 3.5 billion here in the United States, or million, sorry, 350 million in the United States, or is it 370? It's one or the other. Anyway, you take that in consideration to that, it's quite a few people. So we'll go over here to seeds. Now, we're probably not going to see the CME, guys. Okay, it probably hasn't updated enough yet. And I was right. Now, you're kind of seeing a little bit here. You're seeing that typical, almost like a reverse cone signature. We see that a lot. Now, I've noticed this too, guys. When we get action here, and I've said this, and I haven't said it in a while. I'm saying this pretty much for the newer people. When we get an ejection somewhere, a CME, usually we get a smaller or a littler one here. Okay? On the other side. Sometimes they're about the same strength. I haven't seen any science on that whatsoever. But it is an observation that I've made, and it's been confirmed over and over and over again. It doesn't happen every time, but the percentage is close to 85%. So what I'm saying is, why is that important? Because this is the occulter, right? So if something happens right on the face of the sun, and it's coming at us, we're going to see like energy just kind of poking out. We're not going to be able to see it like we could if it was on the side, right? So say we had one that came right at us, and we barely seen it here, okay? And we thought it was on the, on the backside. So if the sun had a flare all the way on the backside, it wouldn't be coming at us, would it? Obviously. But given what I just said, you go on the opposite side, you may get a smaller or one similar going the other direction. So when the sun ejects right off the backside, almost about 85% of the time, we're going to get a smaller ejection coming at us. That's just by my own observation and what I've been actually collecting data on. Again, there's no science behind it because I don't know. I don't know the science behind any of that. It's just an observation I've made. So, take that for what it's worth. Stereo A. Remember, guys, and I want to say this too. We're going to look over here on the red right now. Stereo A is right here, right? Well, that would make Earth about here. Why is it so much further down than what I used to show you? Well, Stereo A is no longer as far away from Earth as it used to be. And the reason that's important is because it's field of view. So it changes the perspective of what we're seeing here. So if the Earth is here, the stuff that's going here is further away than what it was if we were here. It makes a big difference. So what I'm going to do, this is the Earth right here. Okay, we'll use this one. You can see better. Here's the Earth. This is Stereo A. You see the view it has right here. Now its field of view is more like this. Okay? About that wide. It's not very wide. So, look at that. That V I just made. And now pretend it's over here where it used to be. Now look at the V. Okay, see where it changed? Because right here, it's not even going to be able to see where Stereo A's at, or Stereo B, which is this one. But if you move it over here, it can. That's my point. So we need to understand that and look at that when we're doing that. So, and that. Sorry. Anyway, you got, again, Earth is kind of like right here when we're looking at Stereo A. So we have to understand that it didn't, we're no longer there. So we need to take that in consideration when we're trying to decide the direction of these CMEs and solar flares and solar wind for that matter. Okay? Especially when we're looking at Stereo A. Alright, now this is where it gets pretty cool. Okay, red auroras. Well, before we talk about that, this is a morning sky show. It says, what's it say? Venus on October 13th and 14th. Okay, the moon and Venus doing its thing. Now over here, the sunspots. That one's still a sunspot, 2775. This other one is either dissipated or it's now off the side of the sun. Not sure. I think it dissipated. It no longer has the characteristics of a true sunspot. So when we're looking at also the meteor shower that I showed you guys in my last video, that's on about the 20th. Okay, now that's debris from Halley's Comet. Halley's Comet, I think, comes around every 75 years, I believe. I was able to see it when it came around the last time when I was a kid. Hopefully I'll be able to see it again, but maybe not. I may not be here no more. So, but this right here, guys, is cool. We're talking red auroras in Finland. Okay, what makes this so rare? Well, because there's always been theories on what was going on with the red aurora. We know that when the particles hit off oxygen molecules, they will glow as green, and those are higher up. Now, yes, we have them down here, obviously, okay, but we start getting more nitrogen also as we get down lower to the surface. So that's where we see the pink. You would automatically think that pink and red would be closer together. Well, it's not the truth. Because sometimes, the way I understand it, if we read this, rarely I have seen anything like this before. It says Elzine. He double checked it, checked the stuff on his camera, all that kind of stuff. It says later the usual swirls of green were there. Now these were stacked with each other. See them? Notice how the red's actually on top of the green? So what we're looking at here, it says rare red aurora is also caused by oxygen atoms. Okay? They're caused by the same atoms, but at a higher altitude between 150 kilometers to 500 kilometers. At those heights, the temperature and density of the atmosphere, what we talk about all the time, temperature, density, and speed, right? The atmosphere favors an atomic transition that emits red photons instead of green. Okay? So this was the theory. Elzine's photos show red stacked on top of green, just as the theory predicted. Then you got to ask yourself why, and why when we're getting very, very low solar wind are we seeing these kinds of things? Well, because our magnetic field is weaker. Anywhere between 20 and 25% weaker. So when that happens, more solar wind, more charged particles are getting where it needs to get, inside our atmosphere a little bit, to boom, to make these kinds of things happen. So back to my point with this, if we got a crack right there, what's that mean? It means that more stuff's going to get through, right? And we would see stuff like this. So, just for a base knowledge here, you can think that right around 100 kilometers altitude, that's where you're going to see pink auroras. And then stuff above that is green typically. And then on rare occasions, we're going to see the red because of that atomic transition. It puts out the red photons. Okay? Fireball count is elevated. I'll say that. We got... this is coming. This is already passed, by the way. Today is what? Is today... I don't know what today is. I think it's the 13th, right? Right now? Yeah. 13th right now. So this is already gone. Wherever that went. Now remember, there wasn't nothing on the 12th. They didn't see these till a couple days ago. But as we go down through here, we got to start paying attention. We need to pay attention to this one especially. On December 1st, a 0.1 lunar distance, which means it's basically 1/10 the amount to the moon. That's what LD is, lunar distance. Now it's extremely small. That is not big at all. 7 meters. You can get a meter stick out, put 7 of them, end to end, and you're going to see. Right? So it's moving, that's the speed of it, I think, yeah. It's moving extremely slow also on the lower end. So come around December 1st, we need to be paying attention to this because, listen, their math can be wrong. And the further out it is, if the math is wrong just a little bit or something disturbs it and it changes, trajectory, we got to pay attention to that because it could actually come right at us. That's the only reason why we even care how close they are. We had one, about a month or so back that broke a record where it came as close to the Earth as you can pretty much get without getting into our atmosphere. That actually, where I said 0.1? It actually said 0.0. It was zeros because it was closer than a 0.1. And then this graph doesn't show hundredths. Okay? In other words, it was close. Okay? We almost sucked it in, right? Again, here's the sun again. Here's that official sunspot. There's the one that kind of petered out. I showed you guys one up here yesterday right here, but it's already gone. It dissipated already. So again, things can come and go extremely fast. Faster than we could expect, right? And there's that one that's kind of coming around the thing. Now, so why am I saying earthquake uptick? Earthquake watch, right? Well, because we are getting the solar weather, and that's going to increase, okay, guys? Let me get back to that right here. This is saying that we're going to have a steady increase. These are showing you that. So the more that we get, the more gets through, the more we collect that energy as a planet, and it goes through the core, comes in through the the poles, and it goes through our core. This adds overall stuff there, right? Through the global electric circuit usually is how it comes in. And again, path of least resistance, the poles. So when we're starting to get this, we have to pay attention to earthquakes because number one, that's one reason. Number two, if you guys go watch Dutch's last video, he's pretty much saying the same thing I'm getting ready to tell you, is that we haven't had a decent sized one. And when I say decent, I'm talking about 7 or greater. We're kind of, I don't want to say overdue, but it's about time. It's been a while because there's really no specific date that we should see here, here, and here. It's only a time frame that we're looking at. So, also, I want to point this out too. The North American craton kind of sits right here, and Dutch has been talking about this for a while. So let me do this. And this didn't really take us back far enough, but it'll do good enough. Notice how there's nothing really going on here, and it hardly ever does. That's because the craton's there, and the line's over here, the border of it. So stuff ain't really going to happen there, unless, other stuff happens first, right? But you can look at these earthquakes. They basically follow the edge of that craton. And Dutch has been pointing this out for a while now. It even looks more so when you go look at the tremor map. Because there's a tremor map too. It's lower than what they would consider a earthquake, so they call it a tremor. It basically just colors right in and right around it. He's onto something there. Okay? Not to mention, this little swarm that happened here was because of that hot spots that was showing up. And I'm not going to go into detail on what that actually was or what it could have been. But we talk about the beams and all that kind of stuff. So, but dude, I'm telling you guys, please go over to Dutch and check him out with the earthquake stuff. I've never trusted anybody on the earthquake thing like I trust what he says. That's just a fact. When USGS watches your channel enough to listen to what you say and then try to debunk you immediately, you got to know you're kind of on the right spot. Because if they thought he was just a kook, they wouldn't even bother with him. That's, So when you are getting bothered with, you're over the target. So yeah. So yeah, we're going to end it right here with the red auroras, guys. I mean, isn't that just like crazy cool? Look at that. It's just amazing. Rayon, Elzine, good job. I mean, awesome. October 12th, right there. Spaceweather.com, awesome job. I mean, it's just, yeah, great information. So, yeah. Alright, guys. How you guys doing? You guys got any questions before I pop off of here? That's cool. Oh, yeah, okay, guys. I'll tell you what we'll do. I do want to do that anyway. So, let's go back over here.
news?
Okay. This is his channel, guys. Alright? I'm going to drop a link in there, okay? I leave it in my description box anyway. But, guys, if you want positivity, laughs, no judgment, that kind of thing, come over here. I mean, 4 hours ago, he started that live stream. He just ended it not too long ago. We got almost 400 people in there in that amount of time. That is a pretty good record for what he's been doing. He was stuck in a corner, guys, for 2 years. He did his channel for almost 2 years, getting 1 to 3 people watching. But he kept doing it. 652 days in a row. 2 to 6 hour live streams. He's not stopping. Got a family, all that kind of stuff, real estate agent. And I know that I've been talking a lot about him for quite a few weeks now. But let me tell you something. This man deserves to be a lot further along. Not just for him. But for, well gosh, for the world pretty much. Because where can you go to not get judged and still laugh and still have a good time, but yet still be what he says right here? Real talk. You don't find that formula anywhere. And he's put that together, and I'm glad that Scott pointed me over here to him. I've never had one person come back to me that came over here and subscribed and came back and said, Wages, what were you talking about? That guy sucks. No, I'm getting the opposite. Just ask a few people here in the chat, I would assume. Because there's a lot of people there. So let me drop this in the... Okay. Yeah, Isaiah, for sure. Isaiah's Granny IG. I mean, that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, guys, yeah. Let's see here. Seems like an awesome chat tonight, folks. Yeah, it is. Mighty Mark, good to see you in here. Third in line, good to see you. You think the red might be solar dust coming in? That's a pretty decent idea there. I could go with that. The only what I would say there would be, you know, because it's bouncing off the same molecules. Okay, it's not bouncing off something hard like a piece of dust. It's the oxygen molecules, but because it's up high enough, it has a different reaction atomically, and it puts out those protons that are red instead. So yeah. Very possible. Yep. But what you said there is definitely something that we all need to take in consideration, third line, because it you know, that could be part of it. Yeah, guys, I deleted that video. Let me tell you guys exactly what happened. Okay, I may even have the video somewhere. I deleted it. Okay, it was an old World War II video, and I put in there and I put some like alerts. I was just having some fun because I'm gonna let Mark Pyers, I've asked him to, you know, if I could stream his stream on my channel on Friday. So that's what I'm going to do. And the effort there is just to bring some positivity to people. And maybe give them another avenue to positivity so they can go over and get some laughs. All that stuff. You know, it's just great. Celebrity impersonist, face swap, awesome musician. Just a little backstory on where what his story is. In 2004, he had the VH1 Song of the Year. He was a finalist for that. He had a chance at a record deal that didn't, you know, work out. I'm not going to go into detail on what happened there. It's not like nefarious or nothing like that. It's just, you know, take a minute to explain. But instead, he has a family. He chose a family. And, yeah, that's what happens. You know? So, with that being said, he knows how to strum a guitar. That's for sure. He knows how to, he's got this thing called a beat seat. He sits on it, and it's for guitarists so they can still have percussion and do it themselves. Kind of like a one-man band. Not completely that way, but close. And he patented it. He invented it. And it sounds just like what you would think it would. It's awesome. Sounds like a drum set. Real good, percussion sound. Yeah, Real Talk makes connections across the board. And guys, if you go over there, listen, you're not going to get judged, no matter what you believe. Is Mark Pyers going to always agree with what I say? Am I always going to agree with what he says? Am I always going to agree with what Third in Line, Becca, George, Splay, Rampage? You guys, we're not all 100% ever going to agree on everything. And unfortunately, now they bred a society or even a social media platform here that wants to automatically make you think that they're your enemy if they don't agree with everything you say. It's called cancel culture. And I'm not about that. I give people, you guys have seen my chat. That's all it is. I just try it. I just try to do that. I appreciate that, Monty Mark. But, I try to, yeah. I do. I guess I'll just leave that alone because thank you for the compliment. I really do. I appreciate that. That is my goal. I want to be able to, do the same thing. And, I report on negative stuff. And I pride myself on being able to give it to you guys in not such a fearful way. Because if you're scared, what are you going to do? You're going to make bad decisions. So the idea behind that is, bring awareness so there ain't no scariness. Okay? I mean, that's just kind of what it is. But, and be able to accept people for who they are, what they believe, and what they're doing. And let me say this, and this applies to everything. Like biblical stuff, being a Christian, that kind of thing. We cannot just assume that everybody is like that. So if we take the freedom of speech from those people, eventually they're gonna take it from us. So, that's the whole basis of what our country was and is, should be. And I'm not going to go much more into that because that's a huge subject. But listen, you start taking freedom of speech away from people that you don't like or don't agree with, somebody's going to come along that is the same to you, and you're going to get yours taken away. So we just can't do that. And unfortunately in the Christian community and stuff like that, we see that a lot. Because it is a very polarizing, thing to do. And it's not talking about if I agree with somebody's beliefs or anything like that. It's just a simple fact that if we're going to give freedom of speech to people, we need to leave it across the board. That simple. So I can tell you what I believe and hope that you hear it, and you can tell me what you believe and hope that I can hear it. That's where it's at. Oh, and Teesprings IG, I really would, do something like that, but I don't know. That would take a minute. I would probably have to recruit Scott. I think what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to have him make a couple shirts for me. And, people want to go over there and buy it and just, do it that way. Maybe it might even help out with Dr. Albers. With her, trying to help him with, getting all her treatments and stuff done. I may do that. And if he does do that, I will definitely leave you guys a link. We've already got a pretty good idea on some t-shirt slogans and stuff like that. Cool, Mighty Mark. I love my New Zealanders, man. I'm not kidding. So, yeah. Anyway. You guys got any more questions here? Anything I can help you guys out with before I get off of here? Again, I wasn't going to do this, but I want to let everybody know that I didn't mean to scare anybody with that video I pulled down. And that's kind of why I pulled it down. I don't want to scare nobody. And going back and watching it, I guess I can kind of see it. But at the same time, I even put in my thumbnail the takeover of Wages World. Had nothing to do with like a country. I put Wages World in there for a reason. But I can see how it could get misunderstood. So, red dust from space bad. We talk about that because the theory is it's red iron oxide from, a stellar core. That's what we're talking about with that. Yeah, red dust is iron oxide. Pretty much it's rust. It's, yeah. Ordinary everyday, that's an awesome idea. I never even thought about that. Put a big sun there with blue Kool-Aid busting out the sun. That would be awesome. That would be cool. I bet a whole bunch. See, the thing is with the blue Kool-Aid thing, I couldn't use the logo. I was able to do it because when you're doing something for like putting money on it, it falls under a whole different other parts of rules and stuff. Yeah, I'm okay, George. I just, yeah, Susan, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that to you guys. It really wasn't an alert. I put it out there, Wages World takeover on Friday. And like I said, what's going to happen is I'm going to stream Mark Pyers' stream that he's doing on Friday. He's going to do it on his channel, but I'm going to stream it on mine at the same time. So that's where that came from. So I apologize, guys, to anybody that's seen that, got scared or whatever. I didn't mean to do that. That was not my intent. I was just trying to get some hype and play a little, have a little fun with it. Maybe build some stuff there, get some people that typically wouldn't watch something like that. Maybe they will. That was the idea behind it. And at the end of it, it's just to get people to look at Mark's stuff because it's a positive thing. Not only am I helping my friend Mark out, but I'm trying to help everybody else out in the ideas that he promotes with the positivity, just be real about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm sorry, Susan. I when I hear stuff like that, I really feel bad about that because I don't want people to feel that way. I actually try to do the exact opposite. You thought red auroras are a sign of the pole shift along with walking giants? In the aurora. The walking giants in the aurora. Wow, that's the first I've heard of that. Enlightened Truth Seeker, I don't know. Do you have a channel? It sounds like a channel name almost. $300 t-shirts, huh? Help me out with that. What's that mean? Or are you just saying, hey, we need to buy a bunch of t-shirts on Teespring? Julie, what did Julie say here? It was interesting. Let me see. I must have missed that one. That must have been way up there. Yeah, the walking giants kind of threw me through it for a loop there too, Christine. Maybe they were seeing people walking in the clouds or something. Kool-Aid powder at industrial safety shops. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you can take 20. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, there you go. Okay, that's kind of what I thought you were going down when you said, when that was said. But I didn't want to, put that out there unless that's what you meant. I see. You want to get red by a shirt. Okay, I get it. Y'all having some fun in there now. That's awesome. Waking. Oh, okay. I'm with you now. Yeah, Becca makes a good point there. It's often theorized here, guys, that, when we start hearing these booms, they could have something to do with, the plate shifting and stuff underneath us. It doesn't necessarily have to mean it came from, space. There's a lot of things that could cause those booms. There's one thing that I haven't. Yeah, I think I understand you there, Christine. Now I just didn't understand. Yeah, you're right, Truder. One thing that I haven't seen anybody report on, including myself. You remember there for about over a year, we kept seeing videos and footage of receding water lines on the coast. Like whole beaches would be empty, pretty much, of water. So yeah, you got a sulfur smell right with that, huh? That would probably be like methane, I would think. I guess it could be sulfur. I don't know what the geological makeup is around your area, but someone's got a nasty cough at your house. Oh, you guys can hear that? That's my wife, guys. In case you guys didn't know, and this kind of started a whole thing, and I felt bad for Carolyn and everything else because of the way it kind of ended, but I don't apologize for what I said. I just didn't want anybody to feel like that. But anyway, we're all my daughter was tested for, COVID-19. And we're all pretty much on quarantine, but we're all sick. Every one of us. My son works at a hospital. So, and he had it before any of us. So the idea there is that maybe he had it, brought it home to us, and then maybe that's what happened. Or it could just be a cold, guys. Okay? Nothing's confirmed yet. But I will say I feel like crap. But I also know people that get the COV sometimes don't even hardly feel bad at all. But yeah. So that's what's going on there. Gee, bunker time, huh? So, alright guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this. I hope you guys have a good day, or get some sleep before you start your day. Yeah, it's a cold. Fall is here. Yeah, I get it. Like I said, yeah, Mr. MBB3 did a lot of reports on that. I even actually covered it a little bit. Double pneumonia. Oh, wow. That's hard. Thank you, Christine. Appreciate that. Yeah, guys, if you guys don't know, one of the main signs that people need to be talking about when we're talking about the COV is it's not completely specific to this, but it does kind of help people narrow it down, is you'll lose your sense of taste. And that actually happened to pretty much everybody here in my house. So that really had me kind of leaning more towards maybe that's actually what's going on. Because I haven't experienced that ever before when I got sick. And I've been sick a lot. Yeah, and smell. Yep. Now, we have to understand, too, that our sense of smell and taste are actually completely related to one another. People, I don't know if a whole lot of people know that. But just like when you get a stuffed up nose, you know how it kind of makes you not taste things the right way? That's because your smell really helps you taste stuff in a really odd way. To get a good sense on if you're tasting stuff, plug your nose and then put that piece of food in your mouth. That's going to give you a pretty good idea what it actually tastes like. Yeah, pneumonia's rough. I've had it quite, a few times, and yeah, I got pneumonia because I was in the hospital too long. Yeah, guys, I always get dry mouth. I've always done that. That's just something that, So I don't know if I call that a symptom for me. For other people, it probably is. Yeah, you're right, Becca. 100%. Yep. Got a lot of smart people in here. I'm telling you. As I've said this since the beginning. I've learned way more from you guys than I could ever help you guys understand. Yeah, back at you, third line. Thank you for being here, George. Yeah, hit that like button for everybody pops out. That'd be cool. Yeah, typically when you smell something bad, it's almost like you can taste it too. But believe it or not, now I'm gonna tell you guys something here that's a little known science fact, and I hope it doesn't offend anybody because it's actually kind of nasty, gross. I guess I would say nasty might be a bad. When I talk about nasty, I'm thinking of like really really vulgar stuff. But did you know when somebody passes gas and you smell that, you know what you're smelling? Little particles of their feces going up in your nose. Not sure if you guys knew that or not, but let me ruin your day. I'm just kidding, but that is the truth. It's simple. You guys can Google that and you'll find out what I said is true. So with that being said, let me say this. You guys need to, if you guys keep your toothbrushes and stuff like in a like a holder in your bathroom that's out in the open. Think about that for a minute. Hey, Sick, what's up? Johnny. So if you guys, if you leave your, like in a toothbrush holder that's not covered in your bathroom, think about what I just said. If those particles are going up in your nose and that's what you're smelling, they got to come down somewhere. Leave your toothbrush. Don't leave your toothbrushes is what I'm trying to say out in the open. Anywhere, really. But especially in the bathroom. Yeah. Yeah, Isaiah, I don't care if I get 5 bars of gold. I ain't doing that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's probably the best thing, Becca, is to do that. Yeah, yours is covered 2G. Good. Good. Wait till I tell my kids they will ban Christine. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm not kidding, guys. That's actually the truth. Go check it out. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh. But if you think about that for a couple seconds, it really makes a heck of a lot of sense. Susan, a lot of people, don't actually realize that. That's a very intelligent thing to say. That's why toilets and bathrooms should be separate. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to put that thought in your mind. It's just how the conversation went south like that. Who the heck knows? Is the red auroras tonight? Sid, let me, do I still got this up here? Let me, I'll do this before we go just so I can show it to you. Sid right there, okay? There it is. This happened on the 12th. They can't predict red auroras. It's just something that happens. It's a rare, very rare thing. They can kind of predict. They do a pretty decent job of predicting when you're just going to see an overall general aurora. But to narrow it down to the color, they can't do that very well yet. Especially with the red ones. Because the red one's actually bouncing off the same kind of particles that's making the green. The oxygen particles. But it's higher up in the atmosphere, which is why it's above the green. It's clearly seen right here. You see that? But if we see pink, if we were to see pink in this one too, it would be red, green, and then pink. Pink would be underneath this. Or even mixed in with the blue, with the green. I just think it's awesome. Auroras are awesome in my opinion. That's just a little rundown for people who didn't hear it the first time. I don't know, Fatty. Wow, that's awesome. You're welcome, Sid. You're welcome, man. Yeah. I always heard it was the sharpest thing in the world anyway. Cuts right through your pants and doesn't even leave a mark. Just kidding. Having fun now, Anyway. Oh, goodness gracious. I know, Carolyn, I'm sorry. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. That's what we see coming off the sun, right? But yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I took this whole conversation went south in a hurry. Anyway, guys, God bless. Have a great week. Great rest of your week. God bless. Yahuwah saves, and Thanks, mods, and everybody else for being here. You can drink this Kool-Aid.